everyone, today we're going to be looking at a Revco reverse for the Singer 27, 28, 66, 99, 127, 128. So we're going to run through installation and playing with it with a little bit. So let's take the 27 apart. First thing we're going to take off is the arm side cover. Then we're going to take off the belt guard. Then we're going to loosen the stop motion screw and take off the whole stop motion assembly, the stop screw, the screw, and the washer. Then we're going to take off the balance wheel. And then if you have a belt driven bobbin winder, go ahead and take it off now too. Next, you take off the feed regulator hinge screw from the back, just underneath the arm shaft. If the friction washer is loose, take it off too. It's a lot of times they're gunked on in there. Okay, next we're going to take off the feed fork connection hinge screw. Remove the nut first, then you'll do the hinge screw. Now you have to remember this hinge screw is on an eccentric, so taking it off you're going to mess up your feed dogs, their positioning, so you'll have to fine tune that again once we put everything back together. Okay, now you want to rotate your arm shaft so that the lobe of the feed cam is at its highest point, and then use the feed fork connection to push the feed regulator out of the way of the feed regulating thumb screw. If you're doing this with a 66, it's going to take some effort and some frustration. And then once you do that, you take off the thumb screw itself. And gently remove the feed fork connection. The feed regulator will probably fall off, but keep track of it, and if the roller falls off, keep track of it as well. Now you're going to remove the feed fork connection screw stud and roller from the feed fork connection. These will not go back into the machine. Now we're ready to start installing the Revco. Okay. Remove the arm, that's what they call it on patent, from the channel guide. Their naming convention is different than Singer's. Okay, then you insert the channel guide from the inside out into the hole that was left by the feed regulator hinge screw. Then you slide the arm from the outside in to the same hole. It's keyed to the channel guide, so you got to make sure that you, or not make sure, it'll only go in one way. So just know that it's keyed. And then you secure them with the provided screw. And next we're going to take our feed fork connection, after I play with this for a minute, and make sure it's oriented correctly the way it came out of the machine. You don't want to get this backwards. Take the offset place and insert it from the balance wheel side of the feed fork connection, and align it so that the shaft is at the 2 o'clock position, then secure it with the provided nut. And place the Revco roller on the shaft. The Singer roller will not work. Now we're going to reinsert the feed fork connection, turning the Revco arm so the roller mates with the channel guide. Then we're going to reinstall the feed fork connection hinge screw and nut. And once again, remember, you most likely need to rotate the eccentric to fine tune it later. Okay, now we're ready to put on the actual cover plate. So remove the stitch scale from the cover plate, or I guess it's called the gauge plate actually. Then slip the opening of the link onto the pin at the bottom of the arm. Then have the arm rotate to the back of the machine. Have it rotated further back than I do. Put it towards like the 3 o'clock position. Then thread the gauge plate screw into the threaded hole where the feed regulating thumb screw was and tighten it up. Then test the movement, and as you can see, I'm going to need to reseat mine. I didn't quite get it right. There we go. Once you have everything moving smoothly, you can replace the stitch scale cover. And just replace the balance wheel, the clamp stop motion assembly, the belt guard, and the bobbin winder. On the 27s and 28s that have the low bobbin winder, you're going to have some issues, and we're going to deal with that whenever I get it out to the sewing room and do some test stitches on it. So until that happens, there we go. Give it a little spin, make sure it works, and then we'll go out to the sewing room, put it in a treadle, and see if it makes some stitches. I'm up in the sewing room now. It's 20 degrees. The machine is ice cold. It's a little sticky. I've ran some stitches trying to get it to loosen up, but we're going to do another set of stitches real quick so I can show you the 27 in action with the Revco reverse. The biggest gotcha with the Revco reverse, you can see right there, if you have a 27 with a low bobbin winder, it's going to be in the way. Either way, whether you run the belt in front or back, basically you have to have the bobbin winder tilted all the way forward, so it's always going to be engaged. And right now I have thread going through the guide and pulling the guide itself off to the left, so it's out of the way of the needle or the thumb screw whenever I move it up and down. If you didn't do that, when it's sewing forward, if it's on the left, it's just going to rest against it. But if it, you reverse and come back down and it had gotten over to the right, when it comes back, it's going to bend against this. So I just tied it off with some thread and pulled it off to the side because I'm not winding bobbins right now. So here we go. I'm cold. It does reverse. As advertised. I have some tension issues going on. I'm puckering my fabric, but I will put the pictures up and you can see that yes, it does reverse as it says it does. And the 27 still makes pretty good stitches. A little wobbly there on the left, but the rest of the way it made a solid stitch. And it might just be because it's so cold up here. So thanks for watching, and I'm going to go get warm.